Well, hey there, everybody. It's Katie. We're coming up on 10 o'clock at night on the 6th of October. I want to say hello, especially to my daughter. I don't know when it will be that she sees these, but I miss her a lot. And so I wanted to just start tonight by saying hi to her. And I hope she does get to see these every someday. I sort of don't have any way to tell her what's going on or what my life is like. The last time she saw me, I was a pretty unhappy man. And I hope someday uh, she'll get to learn about this. Oh my goodness, I like took off half of my eye makeup tonight. Oh, okay. Well, excuse me also for looking like a raccoon because apparently I didn't finish taking off my makeup. I wanted to talk just for a few minutes tonight, sort of specifically to other folks who are thinking about transition and thinking about, especially girls who are thinking about um, uh, learn coming to accept themselves and express as themselves instead of staying hidden in their male-looking bodies forever. Um, about what happens to your brain, to your mind, once you start on hormones and start making the transition. And I'm not a medical doctor at all. This is not going to be scientific, but um, I'm having this sort of strange experience in my life where I frequently don't recognize myself. And I say that not just physically. I mean, the physical changes are fantastic. I've gone from a 44-inch chest with no boobies to a 38-inch chest with sort of halfway between B and C cup boobs. And that's just amazing and awesome and so exciting that I can't hardly talk about it. Well, I can't hardly talk about anything else. Who am I kidding? But changes that happen inside your mind are really incredible too. And I kind of wanted to try to share what that was like for especially girls. I don't really know what happens when guys start their transitions because they get testosterone, and I think testosterone is the devil's drug. And so I don't know what it's like for them. But I want to talk a little bit about my experiences and a little bit of what I know about brain morphology, the way our brains are shaped. And I guess the first thing is to encourage people to get out and look at the data, do a little research on your own into the different shapes of brains, because brains are recognizable by gender. Just if you've got a doctor and you've got the brain of somebody who's died, they can tell you whether it was a male brain or a female brain in about 90% of the cases. But the other 10% don't behave the same. Their brains are literally built different. They look different, and I don't think it's clear whether it's a brain that should have been a male brain except it got fed testosterone, and so, or a female brain and it got fed testosterone, so it came out weird, or it's an entirely third type of brain. But you and I, those of us who perceive ourselves as transgender, we have differences in our brains that doctors can see. And interestingly, those changes become more pronounced once we get on the right hormones. Once for MTFs, once we get on estrogen. Uh, Over the course of the next couple of years, our brains change so that not me, I wouldn't be able to look at it and tell you anything except dick, right? But a doctor can look at that brain and say, oh yeah, this was a transgender person. They must have been on hormones for a long time because their brains look different, right? Well, okay, so that's pretty cool. Our brains look different. It's nice to know that we didn't just make it up. But well, I suppose we did, but we made it up because we were built to, we were designed to. But this whole issue of not recognizing myself and what that means is really interesting to me. And I guess I kind of want to share, especially for girls who are coming along. I'm a year and a half into transition, and that certainly doesn't make me a veteran. I suppose maybe it does. Anyway, I will someday be 10 years post transition and living quite happily as a woman. But the sort of the initial rush in the first round of changes is sort of blown over, and I'm able to sort of see how amazingly different I am. Okay, I'm rambling. I do that a lot. Um, and anyway, I want to sort of convey the oh my God, how profound, how big is this change? Um, and I don't recognize me sometimes. The things that I think about, the things that I worry about, the things that I watch on television, um, they're just different. And some of it's really kind of trivial. When I was a young man and trying to be macho, yes, I did own Madonna's True Blue tape, and yes, I was a fan of NXS and Pet Shop Boys, and but also Quiet Riot and later Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson, and just sort of tough guy stuff. And I would still listen to those. I don't have a moral. It's not like, oh, I'm a girl now. I can't listen to that. I can't think of the last time that I thought, oh, I just need to go bang my head. It just doesn't happen. Oh, as a matter of fact, I saw a concert with Guns N' Roses, a recent one, and so I watched it to see what had become of Axl Rose. He looks a lot like John Popper now, and that's not a good thing. So anyway, but that's subtle, I mean, that's not a big thing. When I wake up in the morning and I'm putting on my makeup, I put on some Katy Perry or some Gaga or some Taylor Swift. I'm kind of a big Taylor Swift fan, and I might have picked those up. Certainly, I would have picked up Gaga before transition, but I never wake up in the mood to just thrash. Blah, 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 the whole guar, people grinding their teeth and shouting at the microphone. I just never. Well, okay, I could, but it's okay. And I mean, that's pretty trivial. But some of the other things are really very shocking to me. Um, I think that the one that took the most getting used to was that about oh, I don't know, 4 months into transition, one day I was sitting around. And somehow I got thinking about men, which I never did. And I thought, you know what I need right now? I need me a great big, whoa, oh, oh no, I don't. Oh my God, what the hell was that? And whew, whew, no, I certainly don't need that. Woo, because I had always just assumed I'm going to be a lesbian because I'm into women. But the reason why I tell that story is because your brain, once you get the right drug in it, just goes with it so much that it turns out, and this is anecdotal. I have a friend who has a master's degree in transgender studies, and they say that it is not at all uncommon for people's gender orientation to stay the same as they transition. So if you are a straight man, you will become a straight woman. And at first sight, that just seems preposterous to me. There's no way. I like women. I've been into women my whole life. I'm definitely not gay. Blah blah blah. But now my brain is just so reorganized and reshaped, and it took me many many months to get sort of okay with that. I'm like, no, I'm so not gay. And my friend Tracy, who is of course my conscience and my moral voice, was like, no, you're not, you're a woman. And I was like, no, but I mean, but oh dear. And at this point, I don't have a lot of urge to date, and I don't have a lot of sex drive, but so help me, I just don't care. If I see something and it looks nice, it just looks nice. And very often that's a man. And a lot of women do go on and get involved in relationships with men and get married as the spouse in the relationship, because of course we are women, and we're free to do that. But if you sort of stop and you look at yourself and you go, okay, so how powerful is transition? Well, your sexual orientation may reverse. Wow. I mean, that's really fundamental stuff that we're talking about. This is who I am. But as fundamental as the change from male to female is, orientation may change for you too. And I know that may be intimidating, and I don't want to scare anybody with that. You don't have to have sex with anyone you don't want to ever in your life, and if that's just not something you're going to do, that's fine. I know one trans girl who was into women before, and she's living with a woman now, and I don't think that's ever going to change for her. But I pointed out to not to tell you, oh, you're doomed to become interested in men. You're not, but to point out that. Uh, the changes that happen are really, really foundational. Um, I don't know what your experience has been like as a male, but I was often just so horny that I just couldn't talk to women. I couldn't be friends with women because I would tell them, "Yeah, I'm glad to be friends with you," but really, I'm thinking about what it would be like to have sex with them, right, all the time. And there's a line from the movie When Harry Met Sally where Harry says that a guy can never be friends with girls that with a girl that he finds attractive because the sex thing will always get in the way. And Sally says, "So you could be friends with a woman that you didn't find attractive?" He said, "No, pretty much you want to nail them too." This is my experience as a male. I just, oh my God, it was just appalling. Um, and now I find that very often I'm a part of a community of women. There's, of course, issues with acceptance. A lot of older folks really are not very accepting of me. I sometimes face sort of passive discrimination. No, you're fine, you're fine. But somehow I can't get included in things and can't get recommended for things. And, I face the issues that every trans woman does. But like a friend of mine and she wanted to go to this belly dance class. And the first lesson is sort of a demo. You come in and see if you like it, and then you buy the rest of the course if you did. And she was nervous about going, and she said, "Well, Katie, come with me." And of course I like belly dance, and I dated a belly dancer many years ago, and so I was like, "Yeah, I'll totally do that, I'll go with you." And then I have another friend from work who I was like, "We should go out sometime, we should hang out." And I mentioned this other friend of mine and I are headed off to belly dance. um, and she said, "Oh, the belly dance. Oh, that sounds really interesting. Yeah, wait, what's give me the 411 on that." And apparently, all three of us are headed off next week, and we're talking about who to carpool with, and who's going to drive. Are we going to carpool? Blah blah blah. Do you know where it is, and so on and so forth. Um, I know that who one of them is dating. Because I've known her for years, and I know that. I don't know that the other one, who the other one is dating, or if they're dating, or if they're gay or straight, or anything about. And it just wouldn't come up. I wouldn't. Wait a minute. I've got to figure out whether or not this is potential. Maybe I'm setting myself up here. Maybe this chick and I are going to end up driving around the countryside together. It just doesn't. Yeah, whatever. Whatever, that's fine. And that's not to say that I don't still get urges, um, but just the fire, just the drive, And I'm also very different. And I think part of this is because I'm happy with who I am now, but I just don't need to argue about things anymore. And that sort of takes two faces. I own a publishing company, and I let some people go. Whoop, hey, there's my knee. I let some people go over the summer. We had a lot of illness in the group, in the leadership of the group, and we're having a hard time maintaining a lot of the work that we wanted to get done. And I just kind of went through and said, yeah, I don't really think I need to work with this person anymore. I don't think I need to work with that person anymore. And just that sort of urge to fight the noble fight and hammer it out. I don't have as much of. I'm still pretty capable of it. If you try to tell me that I can't do something, or that, um, uh, I'm, well, anyway, if I can do something and I know I can do it, I will go out there and be pig-ass stubborn about it, because I'm pig-ass stubborn. But just that willing to struggle along with the people who are difficult to work with day after day and week after week, I just don't have as much spirit for it. And then I think the moment that inspired me to make this video, uh, um, when Tracy and I first met, it was right before I started transition, and I was really struggling with the idea and struggling with who I was. And I was a very angry person. When I tried to hire her, she said that her main concern was just how angry I was and how difficult I would be to work with. And she was just ripping my ass about commas the other day. Am I ever going to learn how to use a comma? You know, she edits my books. And she was just kind of hacking on me, kind of going after me. And she said, "Are you going to hang up on me?" And I was like, "Oh, well, you're right." I don't see any reason to argue with you being right. And I told her, I asked her the other day to quit calling me boss and start just calling me friend. And she told me she called me her sister, which was really sweet and made me feel very special. But my brain's in sync now, right? It's as if when I got the testosterone out, estrogen is beautiful. I love estrogen. But I really think the amazing thing was getting the testosterone out of there. It was as if an argument that had been going on for 45 years just finally petered out. You know how sometimes there's something in the background that's making noise, like a fan or something, and you don't notice it until someone turns it off, and then you go, oh, thank you. That's very much how my brain feels, and that's my brain mapping itself to the hormones that I have in it now and really loving it. So I guess to sort of summarize all of that, you are a woman. You really are. It's there biologically in your brain. And the same for men, you know. One of the things that you see a lot is somebody will say, well, how do I know if I'm transgender? And pretty much if you're asking the question, you are. You know, at least you're on the spectrum, because it's just nonsensical. If the hormones in your brain are aligned to the construction of your brain, it'll never come up. You know, you'll be like, why on earth would anyone do that? And I get plenty of people who ask me that. Why on earth would you do that? And I say, well, because it's the thing that's most sensible to me, because I have different construction. The testosterone that I produce doesn't match the way my brain is constructed. Um, and you are a woman. But you are a woman under duress. You're a woman who is dealing with it's almost like if you were slightly drunk all the time or someone was pumping a little marijuana into you, you know, you just could never quite get it together, or you had a caffeine drip that just constantly kept you sped the whole time. You've got a hormone in your drug that's a fine, or in your brain, it's a fine hormone. I hate testosterone with a passion, but there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's designed to do certain things for males, and if you were a male, it would be working fine for you. Um, but that moment when you get yourself free and you engage you and say, no, you guys, I'm pretty. No, you guys, I like to wear dresses. No, you guys, I want to be the mom in the relationship. I want to be the girlfriend in the relationship. These behaviors that I've learned as a male aren't right for me. That's step one. And you are just about to uncover everything else that you could have been. Um, and it's amazing and it's empowering and it's scary. And I have whole days now where I will go along for 2 or 3 days and then I will go, oh my God, I don't say things like that. I don't do things like that. You know, for the longest time, I could hear my father's voice talking about faggots, you know, just that imprinting from my childhood. You know, this is not cool in the family that I grew up in and in the environment that I grew up in. Um, I grew up in Louisiana in small town Kansas in the 70s and 80s, and this was not acceptable. You know, this would get you hurt. And for the longest time, I heard that voice, and that's, you know, old me. Oh yeah, I can't be like this. Oh, I can't be like this. You know, I would hear the voice telling me I was a faggot. It just never happens. It just never comes up. It never. Sometimes I don't realize that I'm transgender anymore. most of the people in my office by now, whether they approve or disapprove, it's just part of daily life in our office that I'm there. But we're a pretty big office. There's 700 of us, and sometimes I'll be in the cafeteria when a group that I'm not usually around is there, or somebody will have brought a contractor in who's not doesn't know me, and I'll get this right. I'm sure if you're in transition, you're familiar with that. What did you? Does that? I don't know what that was. Right, somebody trying to process me, and it will be the first time all day that I've thought about it because I'm a woman going about my daily life as a woman, and I don't. I could listen to Metallica if I got in the mood, but I never do. I could listen to Rob Zombie if I got in the mood, but I never do. I could be freaked out about will I be perceived as a woman or understood as a woman, and I don't because I am. And if you can't see it, that's okay. You know, that's that's people not looking at me, not looking into who I am and just stopping at the surface. Oh, well, it was born with a penis. It must be a boy. No, no. It always was a girl, and now it's been on hormones for a year and a half. And if you drilled a hole in and took a camera in there, you could see it. And boy, do I live it. You know, it's wonderful. I really enjoy it. Okay, so that's totally babbling, but um, you're a woman. You always were a woman. You were born with a particular brain construction that is female. And the journey that you are on to know yourself as a woman only starts the day that you let that be okay. The exploration and the changes that you will go through once you are on the right hormones and living your life as is correct for you, um, they just eclipse anything I could have imagined. And I believe that they will for you too. I think that you will be so happy that you are free. And I really want to encourage you. You know, if it's not right for you to go the whole way, or if it's not right for you, if you're actually just non binary, you know, this is all cool too. But know that you are on the road to freedom and it's going to be amazingly different in your head as you get on down the road. All right. I love you all. Thank you. Bye bye.